July 3rd. Moving right along. There we are. Okay, hi you, Linda. Good to see you. I see Bruce is here
John,
joining. I think it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Bruce.
happy birthday, Bruce.
There's Nancy and Christopher and David. Good to see you guys.
Morning, Laura.
Hope
Hi.
everybody's ready for some
Hey,
celebrations or
Christopher.
whatever
Oh,
you're doing.
Christopher's on camera.
What?
Yeah.
Christopher is on camera.
Yeah. Hi there,
Oh,
Christopher.
hey.
Yeah. We knew he was smiling there all the time. We just don't always see it. Let's see here. All right, we'll get started in just a second here. A lot going on. Yeah. Let's see. It looks like Victoria's coming in. Good morning.
Hello.
Gloria.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? I feel like I've been popping on and off every once in a while and my schedule's been kind of crazy, but I've been here but in the background.
Yeah, we seen you a couple times come in and out, and hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm working on my house right now, so
Oh, fun.
Uh-oh.
I'm seeing the side of living in a house and doing construction at the same time, and it's like a chess puzzle trying to rearrange rooms and move furniture from one room to the next, and especially when I'm trying to refinish floors. So, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with.
Do you end up
Fun.
eating out a lot?
No, my kitchen is fully functional.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
luckily, I'm trying to work on the bedrooms right now. So like I have original pine floors under there's nasty like 70s carpet in this house. And so I'm working on doing that, and then I just I think the full moon made me a little crazy, so I took a sledgehammer to an area in the house that I wasn't planning on working on yet. And
Oh, my.
so that opened a can of worms because the shower wasn't installed properly. It didn't have any waterproofing whatsoever. So it ended up causing obviously water leaks. And so there was some mold, and then the wood floors that I was planning to refinish are have some rot on them. So I'm, trying to see if I can save those, and it's a fun summer so far.
Yeah.
Never anything good behind those walls.
Right.
Yeah, but I love this house so much because it has so much character, and it doesn't look like any house on the street, and that's obviously, that's why I love flipping houses too, is it's just there's so much character and all this old history and all the old details and millwork that you just can't replicate new. And so, yeah, that's what I've been dealing with.
Yeah, we did the kitchen a few years ago back at the condo, and it took like a week, and we ended up just eating out all the time. It was it was unbelievable trying to do anything else. Couldn't even make coffee hardly, you know.
Yeah. I will
So
be eventually doing my kitchen, but luckily I do have a kitchen in my basement too, so I'll be able to kind of flip-flop between one space or the next. So,
yeah, that makes a big difference. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, wish you well with that, Victoria. We've been
Thanks.
thinking about you, and we've seen you a couple of times here and there. So
Yeah, and I'm still looking for flips too. I'm looking for private lending. I'm still looking for flips, so I am, still doing that kind of in the background. But I do want to get another one going soon because I finished that one a few months ago, which was exciting. And of course, obviously, I still sell kitchen cabinets if anybody needs that. I also sell countertops too with that. So yeah, I'm still doing a little bit of stuff on the side.
yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't we ask you about that, or you can tell us a little bit more about that. Let's go ahead and get started, I guess. And I don't have a lot of announcements today. We do have the lunch on Monday. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it or not, though. Laura and I know some other people that will be there. So if you plan on being at Applebee's, just go ahead and do so. And we might pop in, you never know. But right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to make it back. It's a busy time of year, and we're getting ready to go out of the country next week or 2 weeks. So it'll be interesting. We'll be doing our networking from a cruise ship again. We did that last year, and that was a lot of fun. So we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully, everything will work out good. Um, anyway, I'm John Lee, St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. welcome everyone. I don't know if anybody's a new guy here or not, but if you are, welcome. Otherwise, David, I think you might be. Yeah, I know you sent a thing here. Well, yeah. So welcome, and everybody else, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, I didn't send out any announcements either. John Collins sent me a message earlier. The last 2 weeks I did not because last week we were in the Missouri Tax Sale Seminar number 5. Even though we did run our network, it was a little bit. I didn't take time to do that, and I didn't this week either because we just got back a few minutes ago. We had to run up to the Mennonites and get some stuff for the weekend, which is always fun. So anyway, welcome everybody. Announcements. We have a lot of more stuff coming out. The one thing I do want to say is if you have not gotten your free membership yet in the RIA, we're still working on that, as you all know. I would encourage you to do so because we got a lot of good stuff coming up, and I know most of you guys have done that, but I don't think everybody has. So I'll go ahead and put the link, if I can find it here, in the chat. So just get your free membership. That way you're insured to stay up on all the, everything we send out, all the announcements and everything, because we have a lot of stuff coming up in the next few months. Actually, the rest of this year, we got a lot of good stuff planned. And I know, Victoria, you were talking about funding and stuff. A lot of people have been asking how to get funding and loans and stuff like that right now. And one thing, I've had several conversations with people. And one thing that we kind of know, and you do know once you start looking for it, is one size does not fit all. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on your situation. So we're going to have some people coming in the next month or so that's going to be talking about funding and their particular programs. So maybe we can narrow that down and focus on that a little bit more, which should help us all out in the long run because I know if somebody in particular was asking about new construction as opposed to their rehabs they were doing. Two totally different things, different programs, and different lenders usually do that. And we are going to bring in some hard money lenders as well as just some private lenders also. That's one of the things I'm working on. So within the next month or so, we should have that out. And then we've got a lot of other good things planned too. So Laura, would you like to do our disclaimer so we can get started, please?
Absolutely. Good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have in need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Miss Catherine Davis. However, she told us at the real estate tax sale seminar that she won't be back until September. She's got a lot going on. So our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, in September, that's only this month and next month she won't be here. So anyway, I was thinking, oh my gosh. And then we got to looking at the calendar. It's like, well, summer will be over by then. So yeah, she'll be out of the country too, I believe, the way she was talking about. So yeah, Kathy, I did miss her talk last week because we were doing our networking. And apparently I was making a lot of noise because I went outside and I was still making too much noise. So I kind of got a little trouble over that. But you just do the best you could do, So anyway, Victoria, you were telling us about your kid. Why don't you pick up where you left off, telling us about the stuff you were just telling us about and what you actually.
Oh yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a professional interior designer. I like to say professional because I didn't just watch HTV and decide one day to wake up and be a designer. I actually have a degree in interior design. And I also have an NCIDQ certification. So I can't even believe I can say almost 30 years of design experience, designing anything from residential all the way to hospitality and commercial. So I've designed hotels, resorts, nightclubs, law firms, customer service centers. I've designed pretty much any type of space that you can imagine. I now flip houses. And I love restoring historic homes. I like being environmentally friendly when I flip. So I also help other investors do those type of flips. So I bring in my interior design experience and my passion for helping out the environment, and I combine that into all of my flips. So on top of that, I also sell kitchen cabinets. So my cabinets come from Chicago and they can ship in 2 weeks or less. You can get pretty much any color or style that you can think of. I feel like I have a lot more than what a lot of people in St. Louis offer. So these cabinets are great quality construction. They're plywood box construction, dovetailed drawers and doors, slow close hinges and drawers. So everyone is always really impressed with the quality when they order from me. I don't know if because they're less expensive than other people, they're expecting less quality, but they're actually really great quality. So people are always super happy with them, and impressed at the construction of the cabinetry. So when I help others, yeah, when I sell cabinets, I also design them, obviously. So you're getting my almost 30 years of experience designing the kitchen. I just really don't even charge for it, which I should, but I don't. So I'm basically selling you a kitchen with the cabinets, and then I also sell countertops so I can connect you with suppliers to get really great countertops, whether it's granite, marble. I don't really do quartz, but I can if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, I kind of do a little bit of everything, and I just help investors as a way to just kind of give back. My primary goal is to flip properties, but I also enjoy helping other people and teaching them what I know about design and flipping. And whether you're flipping or renting, I've done rentals as well. It's just not what I choose to do right now. So I kind of do a little bit of everything, and I'm happy to talk to people and help them out.
And what's the best way to get a hold of you, Victoria, if somebody would like to get in touch and find out a little bit more?
Yeah, so you can reach me at 872-444-6681. You can also go on any social media platform. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I share a lot of design tips and tricks on there. So if you want to follow me, I show a lot of walkthroughs of befores and afters and things like that. So I'm also teaching people in that sense as well. But let's see. So my TikTok and my Instagram, I believe, should be under Inspired House. I think Instagram is Inspired House _ renos, and then TikTok I think is just Inspired House. And I'm also on Facebook under Inspired House. So the name of my company is Inspired House. And it's called Inspired House because I like to inspire people to, have better designs in their homes or their flips or whatever, and, inspire others to be environmentally friendly. So.
Thank you, Victoria. If you don't mind putting your contact info in the chat also for anybody that wants to write it down, that'd be great.
Yep.
You were talking about environmentally friendly stuff, and a few weeks ago, I think when we had the pest guy, you were asking about stuff that was non-chemical. And I'll tell you what, there's a couple of things we've used over the years. One thing for the weeds, first of all, somebody showed us, it was actually at a REIA meeting maybe 10 years ago. What she does is you mix a gallon of vinegar, just a cheap vinegar, white vinegar, and then about 1 cup of regular soap like Dawn or anything like that, and then about a half a cup of salt. And you shake that up, and that'll kill whatever you spray it on as far as weeds, but it will not hurt anything else, pets or anything else. Now we don't out here. I don't kill hardly anything because we don't have a lawn, but I let everything go. And most of them I found out are herbs and stuff like that, and they do have a reason to be here. So I don't want to just kill everything. But like the ragweed and the horseweed is stuff I kill, and I yank out. But that stuff works really good. I just got a sprayer and I shake it up. You can do it in a little hand sprayer or a metal, the bigger ones you pump up, either one. And then
Yeah.
on the you were talking about on the pest. One thing that actually I got this from a pest guy several years ago. Mothballs work really good, and crushed mothballs. Now you got to be careful because they stink and they make everything else stink. But you can put those in like the little bags, and they'll keep wasp and all kinds of stuff at bay, kind of like that. For whatever reason, it cost me a couple $100 because we had a possum that got in one of our rental properties and climbed up through the kitchen, dug a hole in there, and scared the guy's kid. He was at work, and the kid was over there. He stayed with him for the summer, the guy's son, and was scaring the guy. He had a picture of it. It looked really scary to me too. But it got up in the underneath the sink, and the guy came out, the pest guy, and he put rotten bananas in there and all this kind of stuff in one of those cages. He ended up catching the neighbor's cat though in the middle of the night, which woke everybody up because it was yelling. But one of the things he told us was he uses mothballs for that kind of stuff. And I started using those, and crushed forest mothballs work really good, but they'll keep out squirrels and all kinds of stuff, and everything just kind of stays away from it. So if you have pets, because we're all concerned with our pets, when getting
Right.
into that kind of stuff, I mean, that's always a big concern, but they'll stay away from that stuff and it won't really hurt them. So that's a couple of things that we learned over that. I mean,
Yeah, that's good to know. I will say vinegar has so many amazing uses. It actually also kills mold better than bleach. So bleach doesn't kill mold. It only kills it on the surface. If you use vinegar, vinegar will penetrate all the way through to the root. So I've been using vinegar for that. I have also heard about vinegar for pests outside. But I think vinegar will also kill some plants. So I think you can use it for weed spray.
mhm.
And then also like vinegar and salt mixture. I've heard that.
And
I,
and then that's where the soap comes in too, because it sticks to whatever you put it on. I think that was the reason for the
yeah,
soap.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I also use diatomaceous earth. This is a powder, and I use it for ants inside my house because it's kind of like a little powdery flake, and it's an all natural product. And if you sprinkle it inside your home, it basically I hate to say this, it slowly kills the ant, but it'll keep ants from coming in because it'll just anything with I can't remember what it's called, but any kind of insect like an ant, it will keep them out basically.
What's that called?
It's called diatomaceous earth, and don't even ask me to spell it
That's
because
okay.
let me see, how is it spelled? It's Diatomaceous, I think.
Okay.
Diatomaceous earth. So I got a big bag off of Amazon. And it comes with like a little like this kind of accordion squeeze bottle or bowl or something, and you fill it and then you just squeeze it around the perimeter of your house. You can do inside, you can do outside,
Hmm.
and it works really well.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm all about the natural products.
Yeah. Well, the one thing we started looking at is everybody, we don't have pets, but a lot of people do, and you don't want to be spraying stuff around and let them, get into it. So, and also I noticed on the weeds, there's some stuff we want to kill, but most of the stuff we don't want to kill.
Yeah.
It has benefits. So
I
anyway,
also want to give out a shout out to Yulinda. Hey, Yulinda. So she recommended a handyman that I ended up using for a couple of things, and it turned out that he knew my dad that passed away. So I actually called Yulinda and told her about it because it's one of those moments where you realize that your loved ones are helping you from beyond. And it was just really cool to realize that he knew my dad because this guy, Paul, she recommended Paul Wandell. So if you need a handyman, obviously Linda's recommending him. I would also recommend him. But he's like in his 80s and he is still like going every day. He wants to work all the time. He reminds me a lot of my dad, and somehow it came up and he's like, I knew your dad. And he knew him back like when they were in their like 20s or 30s. So
that's
it was
great.
just really cool. So I have to say thank you again, Yolanda.
You're welcome, Victoria.
Would you like to share the contact information with us for anybody that might need a handyman coming up? Now,
Ooh,
this is for the St. Louis area, is that
where
correct? Or
is his
St.
number? Yeah.
Uh, he
Do you
is,
have it?
but Victoria lives kind of far out, right, Victoria?
Well, yeah, I'm basically like Imperial Arnold border. So
Okay.
he's in Creve Coeur, but he came out and he's going to be helping me with some other stuff too. So I think he'll pretty much go wherever. He's that generation that they just want to work all the time and they just are going and going all day, which I love. And they're very knowledgeable and they can fix anything and they always do it the right way.
He can fix anything.
Wow.
Yeah. What is do you have his number? I'm trying to, let
Yeah,
me,
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Yeah,
gotcha.
and you got his name also spelled out
Yes,
so we can make sure we get that right.
yes.
And I do know he is looking for more work. So
Okay.
if people need somebody like tomorrow, he'd probably be available. Well, maybe not tomorrow on the 4th of July, but you know what I mean.
Well, that's good to
Well,
know. That's really good.
yeah, and he's getting ready to do some stuff for me because I'm still working on my house, getting it ready to sell. So
Hmm. Yeah, how's that going, you, Linda? You were talking about that. You got any
Woo!
closer to?
I made a big mistake
Uh-oh.
with the bathroom, the vanity for the master bath. And so I have to correct that. And Victoria gave me some suggestions on what to do with the vanity. It's a really nice vanity. It just did not go well with the master bath. And I think I just got overzealous and didn't take the time to really look the way I should have. And yeah, otherwise it's going
Hmm.
good, except my painters, I think they've moved in. So other than that,
Uh,
it's going good. They've been painting. They started painting like almost 4 weeks. Wednesday will be 4 weeks. They started
wow.
painting and they're still painting.
Well, it's probably nice and cool in there compared to outside.
It is. It's very nice.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll do a good job for you.
Oh, they're doing a bit now. Anyone needs a painter, I highly recommend her. Her name is Tammy Battelle. And in fact, Victoria, she is Paul's niece. That's how I met her through Paul. Excellent painter. She
I was
doesn't
actually just going
even,
to ask for a paint.
huh?
Give us her number.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Her name, hold on. She doesn't even, tape. I can't paint without taping. And she told me professional painters don't tape, and she's right.
Yeah.
Because I looked up some YouTube videos on painting, and none of those painters were taping. I'll put her number in the chat.
Well, I
Yeah. And if
will
you don't,
say I was painting my living room and I have beams on my ceiling and I ended up trying to tape and it doesn't always guarantee a straight edge. You have to put the original color painted first and then you put the color that you want to get a straight edge, which was really annoying. But trying to paint a ceiling, it took me a month just to paint this room. And I ended up freehanding. I got a really little artist brush and I freehanded the columns on the ceiling because I have a textured ceiling and it was an absolute nightmare. So
yeah. Linda,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right about not taping though, too. I've watched a few of them and they're really good. They have these, they buy a little bit special brushes, but they just go right down and it's amazing because I got to tape everything and I still mess it up. So
me too.
that's why I
Me
hire
too.
people too.
Same here.
Wow, that's very good. Yeah.
By any chance, anybody know a non-chemical way to kill mosquitoes outdoors?
Mm,
That's the bigger one, huh?
Um,
no.
in the Caribbean, they use these coils. I can't think of the name of them, and I don't know if you can get them here, but you might be able to find them on like Amazon. I just can't, and they're non-chemical and they're coils and they work really well with mosquitoes. Yeah, if
Is it
I
something you
think of it,
burn?
say that again.
Is it something you burn?
Yeah, you burn it and it
Okay.
keeps it away.
Okay, I'll look into it. Thank you.
If I find the name, I'll post it in the chat. Maybe not this meeting, but another one.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, very good. Okay, I was just told that mothballs are toxic, so be careful when you use them.
Oh, okay.
They work really good though. But I know the pets don't go around eating them, so they stay away. So, all right. And Paul's number, I don't know if you mentioned it verbally or not, but I'll go ahead and do that for anybody watching the
Thank
replay.
you.
Paul
All
Waddell,
right.
the handyman, 314-960-6682. So thank you very much. All right. And you got
You're welcome.
Tammy Battelle, the painter. That's a good one to know too. Let's see, Bruce, we got CO2 mosquito traps. Okay. You want to unmute yourself, Bruce, and tell us about them? Maybe he's a place where he can't unmute, but looks like he's got a link in there. CO2 mosquito traps. So, okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay. I missed anything else? Okay. Oh, Bruce said happy birthday to me. I got a couple of days to go, so thank you, Bruce. I know it's your birthday about the same time. We got like one day in between.
Well, happy birthday, John.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Okay, and you got an event coming up also, you Linda, not too far off. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, and I was just gonna look up the link for it. It's the annual St. Louis Metro Housing Collective Landlord event. And it is coming up on Wednesday, July 29th. And it is at the Cardinal Regali Center. It's free. We just ask that everyone register. So we, just know how many people we're going to have. We provide a little continental breakfast and also lunch. And we're gonna have like I think this year about 4 or 5 speakers. Myself and one of the other members, we're doing a presentation on shared housing. So it's gonna be a good event, and I'll put the link in the chat and you feel free to register.
Yeah, thank you. Now that's the 29th. What time does that start? I think it was
It's registration starts at 8:30 and the event starts at 9.
okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind putting that link in there, that'd be great.
Okay.
Bruce is having problems with his mic, it looks like. Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything they'd like to share with us? Anybody got anything for sale? I know I got a couple emails this week, people looking for stuff, but I don't see they're on here today. I told them just come in and tell us what you're looking for. Then you'll get it on record too. We traded a property for some silver this week, which was kind of fun. I haven't done that in a while. We do a lot of bartering too. I was talking about that last week at our seminar. I've got some antique firearms. We got swords. We got offered tattoos not too long ago, Laura and I, but we didn't take them. Thought that might be fun, but we didn't do that. Jet skis, trucks. Boy, I got offered a trailer again the other day. And then I just happened to talk to this guy, and he offered me a bunch of uncirculated 1921 Morgan dollars, silver dollars, and silver. It's kind of been up and down. It was down a little bit, but when I went ahead and traded him, this is a lot that I bought many years ago for about 200 and I don't know 60. No, I didn't think it was that much. 230 something dollars. And it's been sitting there. The community changed the rules. It used to be a nice building lot, but now they changed the size. So you can't build on them anymore. And it's just a lake access lot. And it was kind of interesting because I had an ad running just for bartering to see what I could get for this lot. And the guy that contacted me had just bought a lot on another street on the other side of the lake, and I had one that was not advertised right next to his. So it came out really good for him because now he's got a big enough lot to where he can build on. It's a little over a half acre, and I got a big roll of silver dollars that I'm happy to have. So that's because silver, I don't know. It's really funny. In fact, we dug out our silver just to look at. I bought it many years ago, and I think stuff we paid $15 for now is worth about 75. So you just never know. It comes and goes, but that was another thing I bartered for. It's the first time I traded for silver coins, which I thought was fun. So
That was for a house?
it was no, just a building, a lot, a lake access lot. It's a quarter acre lot, not a house. I would have if he got enough silver. You never know, you know.
So how was the event last week?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was. I like Dale's description, Dale Sweet, the attorney, he said this group, he goes, I liked your group a couple weeks ago much better. I related to him because this is more of a nerdy group. And it was really, and why he said that is because it was all attorneys. I think I was the only one that was a speaker that was not an attorney, and all the rest of them are attorneys. They're so a matter of fact, right to the point on everything. And they had continuing education for Missouri, Kansas, South Carolina, and Indiana. I think that was it this time. And so it's just a different crowd of people. But it was very good, high level. I really enjoyed it. The lunch was good too. They had some kind of I think it was some kind of barbecue. It was Dexter's, I think, or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I never heard of it, but it was really good.
It
The
was
whole
good.
event was good. I mean, there's a lot of I like the events because, this one was a little bit out of the way, but you get to meet some of the people that's actually doing this. And we went to dinner the night before, and you can sit there with some of the people and just kind of talk off the record a little bit, and they fill you in on a lot of stuff. I mean, my experience is I gain a lot of I call it relationship capital because you're just there, just kind of not looking for free information, but you're talking to them just on a different level. And of course, the event was just great. Scott puts on a really good event every year. And he's got, boy, I don't know how he does. He's got 4 children, him and his wife, and they travel all over the place doing this. And they're just really good kids. I think the oldest one is 12, maybe something like that. And they get a big old van. They go camping and stuff while they're doing this. So he makes a whole event out of it. And so I know last year it was in St. Louis. This year was Jackson, which I'm getting to know Jackson and Cape a little bit now because Laura's flown out of Cape a couple times, which was interesting. So they've got a whole different way. If you're going to, what is it, Dallas or Pensacola or Chicago or something like that, you can get on a little bitty, it's almost like a private jet. It holds like, what, 25 or 30 people.
30.
And
Mhm.
30, yeah, and they have nonstops there. If you're going anywhere else, you might have to go in a couple little towns or something like that. But
Well, they fly into DFW and O'Hare, and so they do fly to big
yeah,
airports, but
yeah, very interesting though. Airport's a whole lot different than what I'm used to. You just kind of walk in and there you are.
yeah.
Then the TSA shows up when either they're coming in or are leaving. They're not
Yeah,
there
like,
all the time.
no, they're there like 30 minutes before the plane,
So
for the flight.
whole different area. But yeah, Jackson is very interesting. We were at the MU Extension, Ulinda, which is down there, and it was very it was a nice event. So mark it on your calendars for next year. He usually has it the last weekend of June, and I think the timing's perfect because all the lists start coming out in about another. Well, let's see. Today's the 3rd, so we about another 2 weeks. The lists are going to start coming out in all the areas in all the counties in Missouri. Now, St. Louis City has a sale coming up. I don't know if you're on Dale's mailing list. If you're not, you should be.
Yeah.
He's got one coming up here soon. And I think you have to be registered maybe by now to participate in that event. St. Louis City has not tax sales, but 4 sales coming up. In addition to the tax sales. The tax sales in all the counties, they're all on the 4th Monday of August, and they're the same every year. As you probably know, we personally don't go there. We either buy them over the counter after the sales and the county gets control over them, or we deal with the delinquent taxpayers before the sale. And that's why I like getting these lists coming out. If you don't do that, a lot of them are online. Some of them you have to get the newspaper. Some of them you have to go in the office. All the counties, they don't do anything the same. They all do it whatever the way they want. In fact,
John, I have a question about that.
yeah, sure, Nancy.
On the list, like I've been looking at some lists and there's one price, like a sale price, and then the loan amount, and they're different. Is the sale price the minimum bid? What does that mean?
Where are you getting a loan amount? They won't have loans on the tax sale list.
Oh, they won't?
No.
It's from a private vendor.
Oh, that's different. I don't know. There's different people that sell different lists different ways. I don't know. I get them directly from the counties is the way I've always done them.
And do you get a minimum bid amount?
Well, they're all different. See, every county is different. You really need to know how they operate. Some of them will go ahead and have the minimum amounts. There's a first, second, and third year tax sale in Missouri. That
Right.
doesn't mean that's the way the counties do them either, though. We found out recently, Butler County, some people that showed up at they participated in a couple of our events. They go to Butler County every year, and theirs are different. After the first year tax sale, they're going to sell the certificate. Because when you go to the tax sale, you're not buying the property, you're buying the certificate. Now, to confuse it even more, you got the first, second, and third year tax sale for most counties. The first year tax sale is 3 years of back taxes. Okay, and then you do not get you get a certificate, but it's not even close to getting the property itself, because then you have to go through the second year tax sale next year, which is 4 years of back taxes. Then you probably, if you bought the one at this tax sale the third year, which is the first year, you should buy that one. Otherwise, somebody else could buy that. And then you could have a conflict with trying to straighten that out down the road, because then you still have the fifth 5 years of back taxes, which is the third year tax sale. Then there's a 1 year waiting period with the county, and you have disclosures you've got to send out within a certain amount of time. And then you got 1 year to do. There's a lot of stuff you got to follow. And then you probably need to get a quiet title on top of that. So that's another whole thing. I didn't know I was avoiding all that when I first started a couple of decades ago. I just found them and bought them over the counter. That means after the third year tax sale, which is at least 5 years of back taxes, the counties can do pretty much whatever they want, and every county does something different. I like the ones, and this is what I still do, is I'll get the list of the ones where I can buy them directly from the county. I do not get just the certificate. I'll get like a sheriff's deed or a collector's deed or something like that, and then I can do something with the property. The other way I like to do it is dealing with the delinquent taxpayer before you get to the sale. And this is a great time of year, in my opinion, because this is what we've done. This is when you're going to get free properties. You get your list out right now, and you get a hold of them before they get to the sale. And this is when people give you the properties. They just don't want nothing to do with it. They're finally done with them. That's just something I personally do. I've talked about this a lot because that's what we like to do. But this is my favorite time of year coming up, right between now and the end of August.
And then you would need to get the authorization so you can find out what the loan payout is.
Well, you can. I mean, you don't really have to do any of that. You could, if you just get the property, they'll usually come and find you. I've personally never had anybody ever come after you for the loan, though. We've done many quiet titles, and some of them were a lot of people, a lot of mortgage holders on some of these that we've done over the years. They usually don't show up. Now, that's something you're going to need to get an attorney for. To go through the quiet title process. And then there's disclosures you need to send out and stuff like that. But the process really, you just got to follow, kind of follow the list and do what they tell you on there. I would recommend the first several you do, though, would be done with an attorney. I've never done one myself. I would do them now, though, probably. In fact, I thought about trying them just to go through the process. I couldn't do it for nobody else, but I can do it for myself. But I would highly recommend you get a good attorney and make sure the property is worth it, because you're going to spend probably a couple $1,000s on a quiet title by the time you go through the disclosures and all the stuff, that you have to do to get to that point. It's a fun process. I think everybody should go through it just to find out, just to go through it and learn the process, because most people even across the country, or even attorneys, don't even know how it works. And I think it's a fun process. It's the most fun I've ever had going to court. I'll tell you that. Out of all the times I've ever been to court for anything, this is fun, and I've only had to testify a couple of times. And you just get up there and tell them why they think you should have a clear title. It's like, well, yeah, because I bought the property and nobody cared about it. Nobody showed up. And we've had a lot of defendants. We did 13 once on one lawsuit, it had 54 defendants. And we're talking City of Park Hills, we're talking Wells Fargo, we're talking Countrywide Mortgage, we're a whole bunch of different people. One place had, 13 or 14 relatives that were on a title. Another thing you learn along the way, and people do this all the time, they want to put everybody on their title. I wouldn't recommend that at all, because this is where you get tied up into stuff. Because what happens is maybe mother or father or grandfather would like to put everybody on there for equal shares. And when you do that, just really complicates stuff down the road. I've had this, this shows up all the time, because when they pass away, then everybody's on the title. It's really almost impossible to get everybody to agree on stuff. I mean, almost always. I've never seen the families agree on stuff. Some of them are out of town, and that's when the properties end up going for back taxes the third year, and that's when you get them after the fact, because rarely does that happen. I've actually had people give me properties, send me over the notarized deeds to get recorded, and I couldn't do anything with them because they weren't really the legal owners. Even though, and that's another due diligence thing you need to find out, the people on the list are not always the property owners. Sometimes they are just the taxpayers, because I've had that happen many times. So you got to be really sure of what you're getting from them, because I've had granddaughters give me deeds and stuff and then find out later that they weren't even the legal owner. And they say, well, we were just paying the taxes and he left it to all of us. That's where you get into problems. So I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's the beauty of it too, because most people don't know how the stuff works. So you being a little bit, knowing a little bit more than everybody else is where you'll get these deals like that.
John, is that something you would do a class on?
I have. We've done many classes on there.
I figured I'm new, so
Yeah, that's okay. I can send you some stuff. I'll go ahead and send you a link. I don't want to overwhelm you because I get real passionate about this. I love it. I can talk forever. When we did our pre-tax sale seminar a few weeks ago, I think I
Mhm.
talked for 6.5 hours and could have went for another 12. But that's just the way it goes because there is a lot to it. This is something I kind of learned by mistake, a lot of it. But in the state of Missouri, I love it, and that's why, Linda was asking about the Missouri tax sale seminar that Scott puts on every year. I would recommend you going to that because he still only charges what, $75, and that includes lunch, which is amazing. But this is where you learn a lot of this kind of stuff too. And they did have something actually on the ruling too. This was kind of like breaking news last week. You might have heard of that case up in, I believe it was out of Detroit, where this goes back to 2012. Somebody passed away, and nobody was paying the taxes. It went to the tax sale, and then somebody bought it, and they rehabbed the property. Okay, they bought it legitimately through the tax sale. The heirs came back many years later saying, "No, we paid," and they were going to give them the difference in what they paid for it and what the actual taxes was, because it was only a couple $1,000. But then the guy who bought it, it was like they rang it up to like 70 something $1,000. Then they rehabbed it, and it took many years later. I think they rented it for a while, but then recently they sold it for like $197. Well, the heirs came back and were suing the county and the municipality, the people involved with the government and the rehabbers and everybody involved. They sued everybody, but the ruling came down, and this is still going to be going on. Um, what's going to happen here is because can they do that? And for right now, it looks like no, because that would change the tax sale industry as we know it. If they could come back, and then we're talking 14 years after the fact to get the value of today's value. That don't even make sense to me. But yet it went to I believe it was all the way to the Supreme Court.
Oh wow. So were they not notified, or the people they couldn't be found?
They were notified, but the original guy had passed away, so that brings up other issues,
Oh, I see.
But see, that we're talking many years of not paying taxes. You'd think if the heirs cared that much, they'd get in there and find out,
Right.
but
John,
they don't always.
wasn't that really over like $2,000 or something? And
That
they
was the
were,
original amount.
yeah, the back taxes were like $2,000. And I think some lower courts had told those people they didn't have to pay that. And then I guess, what happened with that? Something happened, so they didn't pay it. But for some reason, whoever it is kept adding and adding and adding it. Remember, it ended up to be $35,000.
The whole thing was really convoluted. I
Yeah.
mean, and then it was like 70,000 as a payment. And that's what the county agreed to give them the value, and they were going to pay them on that. But then they kept suing them because they said, no, we should get the 195,000, 197 or whatever it was. That was the end amount they just sold it for. But that's not taking into consideration the amount of rehab. Because I mean, somebody did some major rehabs on this. I mean, you don't go from even 70,000 to 197 very often without really doing something to the property. So this went on for a few years too. So, and this is something still developing, but it looks like it's in our favor. The people, those of us that either buy at the tax sales or buy, a little differently. But it is definitely something to follow, because we were in the National REIA did a thing. I think it was the same attorney, but I'm not positive. A couple of months ago, and then this just came out this week. So the guy from what was it, from South Carolina, flew in to tell us about some of this stuff. So I don't know. It gets so complicated. That's one thing I always try to say is keep it as simple as possible. And even though that's not always easy to do, but this stuff can get really deep.
Okay, well, anything you can share, I'd appreciate it. Do you think that's a good way to get a first rental property? Not at the tax sale, but like how you contact people before it goes to sale. You can do that anytime, right?
You sure can. That's the way I love to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And even before the tax sale, here's what and this is kind of a little insider tip I'll tell you about right now. One of the ways I found lots of them is,
Mhm.
with the first year tax sale, that's 3 years of back taxes. What
Okay.
I'll do is get that list and then look at everybody on the block. Okay. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times what you'll do is you'll find somebody 1 year or 2 years behind on their taxes. Those are some of the best ones I've ever gotten, and either at low cost or free. Now, as far as rental properties, usually the tax properties, those are not your best for rentals because they need typically a lot more work. And that's not to say that they will, but that's, if you're looking for rental property, that's a little bit different setup. One way that you may want to look at it without a lot of money out of pocket is just looking for somebody you can take over payments. That's a good way to do it. Um,
How do you
I
find
don't,
them?
what's that?
How do you find them?
Same way, look for people just starting to get behind their taxes.
Oh,
That's the way
okay.
I find a lot of people. Get just 1 year or 2 years behind, you'll find a lot of people like that. And the easiest way for me, anyway, I found is just to look for people. If you find somebody 1 year, they're coming up to the first tax year, which is 3 years of back taxes. I just look on the block because a lot of times you might find one or two right there or a couple
Okay.
blocks over.
Okay.
That's a good way to find them.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey,
Appreciate you.
John.
Yes. Yeah, Eric.
What I'm looking for a closing attorney, real estate closing attorney,
To close for what?
properties. What because I got some special sales agreements that I want to implement, and I want to make it go through them, other than going to a title company.
I don't know in Missouri if you could do that without a title company doing it the way you're talking about. I don't know if attorneys do that. Try calling either Kathy's office or Dale Sweet's office and just ask them. Because
What about
Missouri,
Roger? What about Roger? What
you can
he
call Roger. Sure.
okay? And the other thing is, real quick. Because I know you sent the copy of it, but I lost it. That law on wholesaling. Is there any way you can send me
You're talking
that
about
link?
SB 972, I think is what you're talking about. Yeah, let me see if I can get that out. And things have changed a little bit too since that. I'll tell you what, we got a small group. Let me see if I can find it. I can put it in there. Excuse me. That also
Now, is
kind
that
of,
far as that law? Is that for Missouri or for where statewide, United statewide?
no, it's Missouri. You're talking about the disclosure law where you can't lease back to the people. Now you have a 14-day waiting
Yeah.
period before.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a Missouri statute. Other states have different things. You do have to know what the state laws are. If you're doing stuff in other states, now you ask about a closing attorney in Illinois, that's an attorney state. And even though they're kind of connected with, it's not really title companies, you have to go through an attorney, even though they do the title work the same way. So, yeah, you got to know your area. Let me see here. So, in Missouri, though, you could title companies are usually usually some of my best. I call them that's where the magic happens because they make the deals work or not work. And what particularly are you talking about, Eric? As far as
As far as
what are you
doing
trying to
lease
do?
options, owner financing,
Uh-huh. From
things
you to
like
them
that.
or from them to you?
From them to me.
From them to you, you wouldn't necessarily need a closing attorney. I would check the title, get a letter report so you know, make sure what you're dealing with, make sure they are the owners. Let me- Excuse me.
Or what about from me to them?
From me to them, I don't use a lot of extra paperwork because I don't want anything more out there than I have to get out there. I just usually use the contract for deed, and you have copies of the ones we use. It's just it's I'm sorry, I'm looking for this at the same time. Because I don't want too much that they could file. Also, one of the things I would recommend is you do, Eric, anytime you do like owner financing and stuff, I would go ahead when you're getting your paperwork done and get a quit claim deed signed back to you from them back to you. and get it notarized on the spot. What I usually do is meet at a bank, and it doesn't even really have to be yours, but I'll get some of that stuff notarized right there on the spot, and then you have it in your paperwork, because that's something I've used the quitclaim deed. I want to, more times than I care to use, because people will sign everything when you're selling them something or they're moving in, but they will sign absolutely nothing if there's a problem and they're moving out.
Yeah, I know. I can get that quick claim deed from Dale Sweet. I know he specializes in that.
Yeah, you've got some anyway in your paperwork that you've gotten from us over the years. We've got a lot of that stuff.
And
So
one other thing, John, just a quick question. I know you're talking about some things you got going on. Is there any way that possibility sometime down the line for asset protection or how to structure your business? Any, people like that maybe could help out, as far as your LLC, structuring your LLCs correctly and things of that nature?
yeah, we've done that before. That takes the right attorney. We want to get in here, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we'll absolutely do that again too. Okay, I got a couple things I'm going to put in the chat here. I got the summary from the SB 973. That's the one that, excuse me, you were talking about. I'm going to go ahead and put the wholesale blueprint in here. We did too. This goes back a couple months, so things are a little different, but it also has a sample of that contract, because I think who was asking about that? Was that Josie? You were asking about contract and assignment agreement. This is you can actually, there is no right or wrong on this. You can do, and I've done several of them. We've done contracts on a napkin. You can do it on scrap paper. When we bought the 10 acres next door where we're at right here, the first time I met the guy down at the lake, or the one time we actually did the contract, we did it on the hood of my truck on a piece of scrap paper, and then sent that over. And then here's the thing, the title companies, you can do anything as long as you got the signatures. They will give you any paperwork they will need. So as long as everybody is willing to sign, to sign everything, the title companies is where, and I call it where the magic happens. That's where everything happens, because they will tell you exactly what you need. They won't give you legal advice, but the title, in fact, we were just talking about that. I need to get somebody for a title company to come in and talk to us, because that's where everything happens. You don't need all these other people that everybody, that a lot of people think you need for any of this stuff. You just need an agreement. You and I agree that I'm selling you this property for this amount, and we both sign it and date it. Send that to the title company. That's your contract right there. That's all you got to know about it. The title company, once you have a contract, they don't even charge you for like the letter, the title search or none of that until you close on the property. So that's another thing right there. So I mean, that's just a couple of things. Title companies, I think, are really underused. It's kind of like we were talking about in one of the groups the other day about the libraries. I think people underutilize those by, because that's a tremendous amount of information there. In fact, somebody in our Monday group, she hasn't bought, what was it, any of the streaming services, Netflix or anything like that. She always rents them all from the library and just signs it, has never spent a dime on any of the stuff that most people spend a lot of money on. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to put stuff in here. This is kind of, we got a small group today. So I put in that SB 973. This is the one you were talking about, Eric. And then I also put in our blueprint we did. Now things will be a little bit different, but it'll have a copy of the contract that, actually the one that I always use, and the assignment one right in there, and give you a little bit more details. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you no advice, but this is something we did for a workshop not too long ago for wholesaling. In wholesaling, they do have that new law. You cannot, it's a little bit different than it was. And I think what you were talking about, Eric, is which directly affects us. You cannot lease the property back to the owners, which is something I always thought was a bad idea, but I've seen people do that over the years, especially in foreclosure situations. They would come through and, take over payments or buy the, property and then lease it back to the people that are there. There's rarely good outcomes out of that. So that's something they eliminated. The other major thing that's going to affect most of us as wholesalers is you have a 14-day waiting period now before you can actually enter into the contract. A disclosure you have to give them now, which says you have to wait 14 days. I think it's going to hurt people more than it's going to help, because a lot of people, when they, when they want to sign an agreement with a wholesaler, a lot of, and as we know, a lot of people put their head in the sand, and they don't even want to face foreclosure or anything like that. So they'll wait till the last minute. Well, a lot of times they need somebody to come in quick, because you'll see people all the time saying, we buy homes fast, and stuff like that, quick cash and all that kind of stuff. Well, this, with a 14-day waiting period, you're going to have to wait now before you can do that, which a lot of times it's okay, but you're going to have a double closing now. This is something that this is a way to speed it up now and kind of get, play within the rules of the new rules of what they're doing. You're going to have a contract now between you and the seller. Then you're going to have another separate contract selling it to the end buyer with the cash if you're a wholesaler only. Okay, so you're going to have two closings. Well, that brings up two sets of paperwork and two sets of fees. So there, depending on the situation, there may or may not be enough money for that. So that's a big consideration now. You're going to have to make sure there's enough money to do that. So that's something that we all got to kind of keep in mind. And I have a new disclosure. This is, again, not official, but it's one we put together when they just came across, when they came around that. I tried to make it within one page, but I don't think I could. I think it came up to be 2 pages if I remember right. Let me just see if yeah, the disclosure, because it has to be a certain size fonts, and there's certain other things they put in there, and this is from the state, so it's in there. You can use that one. It's, again, not official. I'm not an attorney, but that's the ones I used. So you can definitely use them and probably be okay.
Okay, thank you, John. I already put them on the disc already.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you, Eric. Good stuff. Good stuff to bring up here. Let's see here. What's this now? Bruce, you have 40 years ago, we had a team of buyers who bought houses with a lien on them and just let people stay. Yeah, later. And some of the people said they didn't understand. Yeah, that's a big problem. The judge usually, there's a lot of issues with that. So you definitely don't want to do that. There was people that used to teach that all the time too, that they would tell you, buy these, and especially with foreclosure. I've seen courses I went through like that, seminars, and they'll say to buy them and then release them back to the people. I've never seen that work out well myself. Some people say it does, but I just never seen that work. So, all right. Okay. Linda's got to leave. Okay. Bye. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. Let's see if I missed anything here. My contact information, of course. Yes, I'll give you my email and my phone.
Thank you.
Certainly. If I don't answer you, I will, and I'll call you back. Because I get 150 phone calls an hour sometimes, depending on peak seasons.
I've told you a million
I
times
bet.
not to exaggerate.
I know. I've had the same phone number and the same email address for now 31 years. So everybody's got it. Nothing new there. All right. Did I miss anything else? Yeah, we see. Okay. All right. Bruce loves the hummingbirds. Yeah, I do too. Except now I'm having to put nectar in there twice a day. They're already back to that mode.
In just that one, they like that one right there.
They like it the
We have
best.
another one out in the yard that they hardly ever go to.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
and
see.
John, I forgot to say as well, because you mentioned it earlier. I tried it about 3 weeks ago. With the vinegar, the soap, and the salt.
Mhm.
It actually does work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. I was amazed at that. Somebody at our RIA said that I don't know how long ago now, 15 years ago, she told us. And that was one of the things I wrote down. I've used that every year since.
That was that idea a minute thing that
Idea
we
minute.
had.
That's right. We had a
did.
session where I think it was like an hour long. We had idea a minute. And so every minute somebody came up with a different idea, and that was great.
That
We had
was
a lot
fun.
of good things, but that was something that just stuck with me.
Yep.
It-
And that's to kill weeds? That's the
Yes,
weed killer? Okay.
but it won't hurt your pets or anything, but it will kill your tomatoes or anything good. So just be careful what you get it on. But it's non-toxic and it works well. I keep it around all the time now. I always get a couple extra gallons of that cheapest vinegar you can get, which at the time when she first told us about that, vinegar was $1, and now it's like $3.95 for the cheapest stuff. So it's a little different than it was. All right. Anybody else got anything today? A lot of good conversations. We were kind of all over the place.
Hey John, can I jump in for a quick second? I know we're running out of time.
Sure, David. Got plenty of time.
Hey, my name is David, new member. Happy to meet everybody. Thank everybody for your time and a lot of useful information, taking a lot of notes. I'm a new investor. I'm new to St. Louis as well. Bought my first multifamily last year in Fox Park, and it's performing really, really well. And it's time to get a second property and just keep the ball rolling. One thing I've run into is St. Louis has a lot of huge, beautiful homes that are just in states of complete disrepair, and there's just so much potential there. And I keep missing out on these awesome deals because the rehab costs are just too high, and I can't absorb those. But then I thought to myself, I'm a software engineer by profession, so I love building stuff. It occurred to me like I'm smart. I like to get my hands dirty. I like to build stuff. Why don't I just learn how to fix this stuff? It's easy to say, but it's really difficult to get started with something like that because there's just so much you don't know. And a lot of that knowledge is like hands-on. So one thing I'm hoping to do is start networking with people. Sorry, I have to turn this off. I'm getting a message. Okay, there it goes. Um, I'd like to learn how to just do this myself. And if anyone's looking to take on a smart, hardworking, punctual person who's ready to get their hands dirty, um, or you have any resources to teach a new person how to start rehabbing homes themselves, I'd really, really love to get started doing that because I love building stuff. Like, I think my two great loves are like engineering and art and music, and those are both creative outlets. And I think of it in terms of like creating value and creating beauty. And I'd love to start doing that in the real estate space. So if anyone has any tips or would like to take someone on part-time, maybe nights and weekends, I'd love to connect and get started on that.
Yeah, that's a whole different aspect of a lot of investing. I like that. Somebody that you may want to connect with would be, and I see she already left us, but is Victoria. That's the kind of stuff she really gets into. I think she's more of an artist, even though she may not admit that. But that's the way I always take her because she looks at the detail, and it sounds like that's kind of what you're doing. And you may want to just reach out to her and see, kind of connect with her and just talk to her for a little bit. But I'd say keep coming back and talk to people, and yeah, I see you put your contact information in the chat. If you don't mind sharing it also for anybody watching the replay verbally is also a good idea, David.
Sure.
If
My name is David San Vicente. Phone number is 201-370-3891. And my Instagram handle is a little weird because I was young when I made it. It's at SMAVEYS. It's Smavies.
Okay, very good. Yeah, thank you. Tracy, you have your hand up. Did you have something you wanted to say here?
Yes, I was going to talk to David because David, I would like to connect with you because I have a passion for older homes. And I'm just wondering if there's some way we could work together. And I know a lot of really good contractors, and I can connect you with them and you can talk to them about maybe apprenticing with them if that's something you're interested in. So I'll put my information in the chat. And feel free to call or text or email me and we can talk.
I will 100% reach out to you, Tracy. Thank you. The
All
idea of
right,
an
thank you.
apprenticeship, the idea of an apprenticeship is very attractive to me because I would like to,
Okay.
you know, software is a weird thing. It's a lot of work up front, but then once a project is kind of rolling, it like sort of goes into maintenance mode and you end up with a ton of free time. Um, so I'm ready to have something going, maybe even semi-professional. So I'm ready to commit
Okay.
a number of hours. Like I'm ready to work part-time, frankly, on this.
All right, excellent, David. All right, I'll put my information in and then I'll reach out to you also. But I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Well, very good. Yeah. All right. Who else has got something for us today? Everybody got big plans for the weekend? We're just going to go down to the lake and sit in the hot water, I guess. It was pretty warm yesterday. All right, a lot of good conversations today. And always, as always, come back and share anything if you guys get together and, and make any progress. We always like to hear what's going on, Don't just come by when you need something, which a lot of people do, and you're welcome to do that. But we also like to hear the good things going on too, and especially with your good experience, David, on your multifamily. We've had horror stories. We've also had good stories, and we love to hear them both because that's how we learn. We don't live long enough to make all the mistakes, but we can usually hear the stories though, and love to. And what's that? Don't get cooked. Yeah, we'll try not to get cooked. Bruce, thanks. All right. Anybody else got anything for us today? A little bit after the hour. Try to be as respectful of your time as possible. If nothing else, we will see you next week. And we'll have some more good stuff. We can talk about more of the list. Maybe they'll start, it'll really be about 2 weeks before the tax sale list start trickling out. But if you're on Dale Sweet's list, the St. Louis City tax sales, one of them's coming up, and I don't remember the exact date. It's the 14th or something like that. So it'll be coming up soon. And like David, like you said, a lot of the city properties, we looked at them a few years ago, and a lot of them are just not worth the money, even though they're beautiful old architectural, masterpieces. But by the time you get in dealing with some of them, it's just you won't get your money back. And that's one of the issues you gotta kind of know. So it is good if you'll have somebody, maybe Tracy, that has some more experience with dealing with some of them guys, get in there and figure out if it's worthwhile or not. Because last I heard, and this is just a couple of weeks ago, there was over 24,000 vacant properties in the city of St. Louis. We're not talking the county or anywhere else. And and this was back a few years ago, 16,000 of them had some kind of dwelling on it or some kind of structure. And Laura and I looked at them, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. We drove around all over St. Louis looking at them at one point, and we couldn't find anything really that was worthwhile. That's when we were dealing with the Eastern Missouri with Peter Hoffman, the one attorney there, and he had a list of a bunch of them because they're trying to get it back on the payroll because empty houses do nobody any good, and commercial buildings. But just some of them, I mean, it's not even worth tearing them down for the bricks, and that's just a shame. But some of the places look beautiful from the front, then you walk around to the back, and the whole back of the house is gone. Several of them like that. So.
Yeah, the tornado didn't do any.
The tornado, and that was before the tornado, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't help us at all. Oh my. So anyway, I guess, does anybody else have anything before we call it a day? Well, I thank everybody for showing up. Have a happy 250th anniversary of our country. And if you're somewhere else, happy Canada Day 2 days ago. And I don't know what else we got coming up, but anyway, we appreciate it. Happy birthday, Bruce, and thank you.
Same happy birthday to you.
Yeah, I know. I see
For
that.
the 5th.
All right. So we'll see you guys all next week. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye now.